role of calcium in muscle contraction. Okay, now a very important part we need to understand here is this, that suppose this whole board is your cytoplasm. Okay, now when calcium, suppose when calcium enters the cell, now listen, calcium actually interacts with protein. Calcium interacts with a protein called calmodulin. Okay, called calmodulin. Here called calmodulin. Okay, now when calcium binds with calmodulin, now listen with all your attention, what happens is this, when calcium binds with calmodulin, there are actually 4 calcium binding with 1 calmodulin molecule. Okay, now listen, why it is called calmodulin, why this protein is called calmodulin. Now listen, this is your calmodulin. Now listen, this is because of the fact that this is calcium, this cal stands for calcium, modulin means what, this is a calcium modulated protein. Okay, as this is a calcium modulated protein, and everything that most of the thing that ends with in is actually not called, is actually a protein, right, is actually a protein. Now a very important point here we need to understand is this, that when calcium comes into the cell, then 4 calciums actually binds with calmodulin proteins. Okay, and this calmodulin, now listen with all your attention, this is very important for you to understand and point out here is this, that the first protein that calcium interacts when it enters the skeletal muscle cell is called troponin, right, that is troponin C, part of the troponin. But here it first interacts with what, it first interacts with calmodulin, therefore it is very important for you to understand that calmodulin is the smooth muscle counterpart of troponin in skeletal muscle. Okay, calmodulin is the smooth muscle counterpart of troponin in skeletal muscle. Clear? Okay, now listen, so now a very important point is this, that when this calcium calmodulin complex is produced, then calcium calmodulin complex actually helps in the contraction of smooth muscle. But a very important point here we need to understand, or right now we need to understand is this, that actually how it actually helps. Now listen, calcium calmodulin complex actually, this calcium calmodulin complex actually helps in a very different way, that is, it actually helps in the activation of myosin. Okay, and it also helps in the activation of actin. Now listen with all your attention. At first we will be talking about how this calcium calmodulin complex helps in the activation of myosin. Then we will talk about the activation of actin by calcium calmodulin complex. Okay, now listen with all your attention possible. Now listen, if we want to learn the role of this calcium calmodulin complex in the activation of myosin molecule, at first we will have to know the structure of myosin molecule. Okay, now listen, this is the structure, exact structure of your myosin molecule. Okay, now listen with all your attention. This is actually the structure of myosin molecule. Okay, this is suppose the structure of myosin molecule. Now listen, this is actually the myosin head. Okay, this is called the myosin head. Okay, this is actually the myosin head. Okay, now these are actually light chains, but listen, there is a difference between these two light chains. You know what is the difference? Now listen, this upper one is called essential light chain. Essential light chain. Okay, and this lower one actually is called what? This lower one actually is called regulatory light chain. Okay, this lower one is called the regulatory light chain. Now listen, these two actually make up the light chain of your myosin 2. This is what? Myosin 2 molecule. Okay, myosin 2. Now myosin 2 is actually the myosin which is actually helping in your contraction. Okay, now listen, these are heavy chain intermingled. Okay, now a very important point we need to understand is this, that this calcium calmodulin complex, how this helps, we'll have to learn. But at first we need to know one thing, that this myosin head actually have a very unique area where ATP is converted into ADP. Okay, ATP is converted into ADP. Okay, where ATP is converted into ADP. Right, now a very important point we need to understand is this. Now listen, when this myosin ATPase will be activated, now this is called this region is called myosin what? ATPase. Now listen, activation of this myosin ATPase, very important point here you need to understand is this: activation of this myosin ATPase actually results in contraction. Activation of this myosin ATPase actually results in what? Contraction. But we need to understand how this myosin ATPase is activated. Clear? How this myosin ATPase is activated? To answer this question, we must learn something from here. Now listen with all your attention possible on this earth. Now listen. What happens is this calcium calmodulin complex actually activates a protein called MLCK. Now you need to know the full form of this MLCK. Okay. Now the full form of this MLCK is myosin light chain kinase. You know, kinases are proteins which are master in, you know, incorporating phosphate groups into a protein, into other proteins, right? That means myosin light chain kinase is a special type of protein which actually helps in incorporating phosphate groups into light chain of myosin, right? Now a very important point here we need to understand is this, that we have already discussed that there are actually two, you know, light chains in myosin molecule. This is number one, this is number two. The first one is called what? First one is called essential light chain and the second one is called regulatory light chain. Now a very important point is this, if you understand this, now listen, suppose MLCK, now how to remember that, which portion, that is essential light chain or regulatory light chain is actually phosphorylated by MLCK. Now listen, MLCK phosphorylates regulatory light chain. Now listen with all your attention, how you can actually memorize it, right? Now listen with all your attention. Smooth muscle contraction is very important for your, you know, pharmacology class of antispasmodics. Clear? Now listen, how will you remember that MLCK actually, you know, helps in phosphorylation of, you know, what? Phosphorylation of regulatory light chains, right? How will you remember this? Now very important point here we need to understand is this, very important point we need to understand here is this, that when MLCK is activated, when MLCK is what? Activated, then it will phosphorylate what? Regulatory light chain, and this regulatory light chain actually, you know, helping in what? Myosin ATPase activation, right? Light chains when, you know, phosphorylated or activated, they will, you know, activate what? Myosin heads or the myosin ATPase present in myosin head, and therefore contraction will start, okay? Therefore, as this particular portion or this regulatory, you know, light chain actually controls the contraction, therefore it is regulatory in nature, and MLCK will actually phosphorylate the, you know, regulatory light chain. Clear? Clear to everyone? Okay. Now we will be talking about how, you know, this, you know, calcium calmodulin complex or calcium actually is activating actin molecules so that, you know, actin myosin heads can, you know, come together, you know, actin myosin, you know, can interact and cross bridge cycle can occur, and cross bridge cycle in skeletal muscle and smooth muscle and cardiac muscle is the same. Clear? Okay. So now we will be reading about, you know, how actin is activated by what? How actin is activated by what? Calcium calmodulin complex or simply calcium, okay? Now listen. Suppose this is what? This is what? This is nothing but what? Dense bodies, right? These are what? Now listen, from dense bodies, what are these things which are coming out? These are what? G-actins, and when G-actin polymerizes, they form what? F-actin. Now this is what? An F-actin molecule. Now listen with all your attention possible on this earth. Clear? Now listen. Now actually calcium again will interact with what? 4 calcium, 4 calcium ions will interact with what? Again will again interact with what? Again interact with calmodulins, right? Now a very important part here we need to understand is this. Now listen with all your attention. Now, actually, what happens is this calcium, calmodulin complex, in case of actin activation, they actually never activate the calcium actin. These complex actually never activates. What? They never activates what? They never activate the actin complex directly. Now, listen. What they do is they actually remove the inhibitions, which is actually inhibiting this actin to interact with what? To interact with myosin. Okay. Now listen, what are these inhibitions? Now listen, these inhibitions more or less looks like this. Okay. Now listen, this inhibition looks like this. Okay. Now listen, what this is doing is, this protein is doing is, it is actually inhibiting actin so that they cannot interact with what? Myosin. So that they cannot interact with what? Myosin molecules, right? So that they cannot interact with myosin molecules. Now listen with all your attention. Now, scientists have figured out two ways by which this inhibition can be removed. What are the ways? Now listen, they have actually realized that this protein which looks so much angry actually have a pocket, and where this whole thing, this calcium calmodulin complex can fit. Okay, calcium calmodulin complex can fit, and therefore they inhibit the working of this protein. What is the name of this protein? Do you know what is the name of this protein? The name of this protein is what? Calponins. Calponins. Clear? The name of this proteins are calponins. They are called calponins. Now, a very, very important point here we need to understand is this. Clear? It is called calponins. Now listen, actually then calcium calmodulin complex itself can actually inhibit what? Inhibit what? Inhibit the calponins, and due to this inhibition, due to the inhibition of the calponin itself, this inhibition will be gone. Okay, and they will be taken out, and myosin head, which is already activated by what? MLCK, they can now interact with actin. Clear? This is one of the theory. Okay, this is one of the what? Theory of inhibition of calponin. There is another theory which says that, this is theory number 1. Okay, this is theory 1. Okay, theory 1 of inhibition of calponins. There is another theory, that is, this theory number 1 is actually direct inhibition or direct inhibitory pathway. Theory number 2 is more or less indirect pathway. What is the what does this theory number 2 or indirect inhibition says? That is, now listen, we will now be talking about theory 2. Okay, this is indirect inhibition. Indirect inhibition. Clear? Now, this indirect inhibition theory says that CAM kinase, that calcium calmodulin complex, this is what? This is what? Calcium calmodulin complex, this is what? Calcium calmodulin complex, right? Right, this is calcium calmodulin complex. Now listen, theory number 2 says that calcium calmodulin complex directly never inhibits calponins. Now, what does this theory say is, they actually have found that actually CAM complex, that is calcium calmodulin complex, excites or activates a protein called CAM or calmodulin kinase 2. Clear? And what happens is this CAM kinase 2 will now phosphorylate, will now will now phosphorylate these calponin molecules. And calponin is one of those few proteins which when phosphorylated becomes inactivated or inhibited. That means what does this CAM kinase is doing it? It is doing its phosphorylating activity, that is it is phosphorylating what? It is phosphorylating what? Calponins. And when these calponins are phosphorylated, they are when these calponins are phosphorylated, they will be inhibited, and due to the inhibition of calponins, this inhibition to actin will be released. Therefore, now actin and myosin can interact. Okay. Now, a very important point to understand is this, that there is a basic difference between activation of actin in skeletal muscle and activation of actin in smooth muscle. That is, in activation of skeletal muscle of actin, you have seen that calcium entry and troponin interaction with calcium and tropomyosin release is enough for actin and myosin interaction. But here you will have to activate both of them. In fact, you will have to remove the inhibitions of actin so that they can right now what? Interact. That means so that what? Actin and myosin can now interact. Now listen, after these inhibitions are gone and after the actin and myosin molecules are after the removal of inhibition of actin and after the activation of myosin by calcium calmodulin complex and what? MLCK, these two, that is what? These two means what? Actin and myosin can now interact, and cross bridge cycle will now begin, okay, like skeletal muscle. Okay. So we have just now finished the role of calcium in muscle contraction or smooth muscle contraction. Now we will be talking about a very interesting topic, that is smooth muscle relaxation. Okay. Now we will be talking about smooth muscle relaxation. You already know this. We will now be talking about smooth muscle relaxation. Okay. Smooth muscle relaxation. Now listen. So suppose this is your caveoli in the cell membrane. This is smooth endoplasmic reticulum membrane layer, that is sarcoplasmic reticulum layer. And now we need to understand a very basic thing, that excess calcium during contraction is harmful for the cell. Therefore, what will happen is this. Now from where this calcium was coming, from where this calcium was coming? From smooth endoplasmic reticulum as well as from caveoli, which is loaded with what? Voltage gated calcium channel. Okay. Now listen, with excessive increase in calcium concentration, what will happen is this, that a protein will be activated here. A protein will be activated, okay, and this protein requires ATP, and it converts ATP into ADP for its energy. And now what will happen is this protein will actively, why actively? Because ATP is required, actively pump in calcium into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay. Clear? Now with the withdrawal of calcium, now listen with all your attention, with the withdrawal of calcium, what will happen is this, that the process which were actually occurring will be reversed and the muscle will relax. Clear? And the muscle will relax. Okay? Okay. So we have up till now discussed the smooth muscle relaxation, right? Now a very important point here is this, before we end smooth muscle relaxation, that is, this is one of the way of, by which smooth muscles relax. But there is another way, that is, now listen with all your attention. When smooth muscle relaxation occurs, a protein which is called MLCP, okay, MLCP. Now what is the full name of this MLCP? This MLCP stands for myosin light chain phosphatase. Clear? Phosphatase. Now what does this myosin light chain phosphatase does is actually, now you remember that this is your, suppose dense body, this is suppose your dense body, right? And these are what? Your actins, right? These are your actins. Now this is what? There is your, what? These are what? These are your myosins. Now listen, you already know that myosins have two, light chains, right? Right? Now listen, the regulatory light chain is phosphorylated by MLCK. Now listen, what happens is this, that whenever MLCP is excited and MLCP is actually, triggered, then what happens is this, MLCP actually, remove this phosphatase. Now, remove these phosphates. Now, what do you mean by phosphatase? Phosphatase means any enzyme which removes phosphate. Clear? It removes phosphate. Okay? Therefore, it will remove these phosphates, and therefore, what happens is this, that no longer there will be interaction of, what is this? Dense bodies. What are these? What? These are what? These are effectin, right? Now listen, what happens is this, there will be no longer, interaction between the myosin head and the actin molecules, and therefore there will be no effective contraction. Clear? There will be no effective contraction. So we have successfully, completed two important topics, that is, number one, structure of smooth muscle and how smooth muscle contracts. Now we will be talking about types of smooth muscle and a very brief concept of latch bridge concept or latch bridge, phenomenon. Okay. Now if we discuss in details, if we start discussing this thing in details, first thing we need to understand is this, there are actually, two types of smooth muscles. Okay. There are actually, two types of smooth muscles present. Okay. Which is called single unit smooth muscle. These are the most common names. Okay, single unit smooth muscle and multi-unit smooth muscle. Okay, these are the most common names, that is single unit smooth muscle and multi-unit smooth muscle. Now a very important point here we need to understand is this, that the first thing we need to understand here right now is this, that why this differentiation. why we need to differentiate smooth muscles on the basis of some words, that is smooth, single unit smooth muscle and multi unit. Now listen, what do you mean by single unit and multi unit? Now listen, first thing we need to understand is this. Okay, we will now draw bigger pictures of this. Okay, now suppose this is your smooth muscle cells. I will be drawing multiple smooth muscle cells. Okay, clear? Now a very important point here we need to understand is this, that suppose what we will see is, suppose there is one neuron which is coming and which is going to enter the smooth muscle. Now listen, there was neuromuscular junction in skeletal muscle, but listen with all your attention, but in case of smooth muscles you will not get any neuromuscular junction like that, but you will get something like this. The nerve endings, wherever they enter the muscles, they swell like this. Okay, they swell like this, and these swellings, each and every swelling is called varicosites. Okay, varicosites. Now listen with all your attention. A very important part here you need to understand is this, that a very important part here we need to understand is this, that if we can understand this particular things, you will unlock the very important mystery of smooth muscles. Okay, now listen with all your attention. These are what what are these? What am I drawing? What are these? What do you think? Can you guess? What are these? These are called gap junctions. Okay, these are called gap junctions. Now listen with all your attention. What is happening here? Now listen. Suppose this is the first muscle. Okay. Now listen. When this first muscle gets excited by this particular neuron, what happens is this neuron depolarizes this what muscle. This neuron depolarizes the first muscle. Now a very important point here we need to understand is this, that depolarization means what? Entry of calcium and all these things we know in case of smooth muscle. Now a very important point here we need to understand, that means here in this first muscle the concentration of calcium is high. Now listen, what will happen is, now calcium will actually flow into other cells as well. That means in case of this type of smooth muscles, if you depolarize a single cell, then all other neighboring cells acts as syncytium. Okay, connected units, syncytium. Okay, now listen, you already know that syncytium also exists in another muscle, which is cardiac muscle. That means why I am telling you this, because these type of smooth muscles which have a functional syncytium, they actually behave like cardiac muscle. Your heart muscle. Clear? They actually behave like your heart muscle. Now a very important point here we need to understand is this, that smooth muscles which have this type of connections, where these varicosites are nothing but the swellings. Okay, varicosites are the swellings which actually contain the synaptic vesicles. When these varicosites just enters one of the cell, they will activate calcium release. They will activate calcium release, and calcium will enter through all other cells, whether these other cells are activated by direct contact of varicocytes or not. Clear? That means these cells are acting like a single unit. They are acting like a single unit, right? Now that's why they are known by the name of single unit smooth muscle. Single unit smooth muscle. Now listen with all your attention possible. Single unit smooth muscles behave like cardiac muscle, no doubt about that, right? Okay, now let's draw the other one, that is what is left, multi-unit smooth muscle. Let's draw the other one. Now listen, what happens in this case is that what happens in this case is this. That every cell receives, individual fibers, or it may happen like this. Now listen. Or this may happen like this, okay? That means what? What I am trying to convey is this, that this may happen, this may happen that each of these cells receive single inputs from different neurons, or it may happen that some collaterals may actually activate two similar type of cells. Clear? Two similar type of cells. Now listen, this type of arrangement looks more or less like what? A single neuron activating a single muscle fiber, which is occurring in skeletal muscle. Therefore they act more like skeletal muscles, right? And this type of muscular structure, where each and every cell almost receives a direct neuronal contact or a collateral, this type of arrangement is called multi-unit, because there are many units which contract independently of each other, right? Therefore it is called multi-unit smooth muscle. Multi-unit smooth muscle. Clear? This is your multi-unit smooth muscle. Clear? Okay. Now, very important point here we need to understand is this. Very important point here we need to understand right now is this, that what are the position where you will find these different types of muscle fibers. Now listen, what are the positions in your body where you will find this type of muscle? That is where you will find multi-unit smooth muscle, where you will find single unit smooth muscle, right? This is the most confusing part. Now listen, you don't have to get confused. first listen to me with your attention. Where you will get single unit smooth muscle. Now listen, what is the characteristics of this single unit smooth muscle? What is the characteristic of this single unit smooth muscle? First tell me. In a single unit smooth muscle, the action potential or depolarization actually flows, right? Therefore, suppose if I tell you like this, that suppose this part of the area is contracting and this part of the area of your body is not contracting, that means what? This wave of depolarization is actually, suppose going from here to here. That means this may happen that this part of your muscular, organ is contracting and this part is not contracting, or this part is actually relaxing. Then what does it mean? That means slow wave of depolarization is actually what? Occurring here. That means these parts where contraction and relaxation occur simultaneously but at different levels and at different speed, their single unit smooth muscles are very important. Where does it occur? Where? It occurs in your where? Every area of your GI tract. GI tract motion is nothing but the contraction of smooth muscle. That's it. GI tract motions are nothing but your smooth muscle contraction. Clear? GI tract motion is nothing but your smooth muscle contraction, okay, at every point. Clear? Now, a very important point here we need to understand is this: when our body utilizes multi-unit smooth muscle, when will our body employ multi-unit smooth muscle? Now listen, multi-unit smooth muscle, what is happening is this, that every muscle cell is actually getting activated by single neuronal fiber. That means which one will have more precision for contraction, which one, whether single unit smooth muscle or multi-unit smooth muscle, which one will have more precision? Obviously the multi-unit smooth muscle, because each and every cell is getting their own supply of neuronal connections, right? Therefore, when our body requires specific contractions for specific unit of time, their body employs multi-unit smooth muscle, not single unit smooth muscle. Now where do we require these type of muscles? Now listen with all your attention, very important. When we require a high grade of contraction for a longer period of time, body employs smooth muscle, multi-unit smooth muscle. Where in your body you need high grade of contraction, high grade muscle contraction for a longer period of time, you need in your sphincter muscles. Every sphincter muscles of your body have multi-unit smooth muscle. Every sphincter, whether it is lower esophageal sphincter, whether it is pyloric sphincter, or whether it is anal sphincter, or whether it is urinary bladder sphincter. Clear? Now a very interesting point you need to understand is this, that urinary bladder is actually made up of single unit smooth muscle. Why? You need controlled contraction and relaxation waves, right? But their sphincter, urinary bladder sphincter is actually made up of multi-unit smooth muscle. That means if I can draw here, suppose this is your your bladder, okay, suppose this is your bladder, okay, suppose this is your bladder, clear? Suppose this is your bladder, okay, and this opening of the bladder is controlled by what? This is sphincter, is multi-unit smooth muscle, right? But the body of the urinary bladder is made up of single unit smooth muscle. Okay, am I clear to everyone? Okay, clear? Now your eye muscles, which controls the diameter of your pupils, requires precision in muscle movements. Therefore, eye muscles are also multi-unit smooth muscle. Clear? Where they require precision in movements. Clear? Where they require generalized movements or slow wave of depolarization, they will use single unit smooth muscle. Okay. Clear? Now we will be talking about a very interesting topic and very important as well, called latch bridge phenomenon. Okay. Now, why I am talking about latch bridge phenomenon in case of types of smooth muscles? Why not discussing it in relaxation and contraction of smooth muscle? Now, a very important point we need to understand is yes, latch bridge phenomenon obviously is a part of cross bridge cycle of smooth muscles. But if you don't get what are the types of smooth muscles, you will never understand latch bridge phenomenon. Now listen, what is a latch bridge phenomenon? Now, a very important part is this. Suppose this is what? This is your what? Dense body. These are what's? These are what? Your actin. Now I will be drawing some bigger actins here. Okay. Some bigger actins here. Clear? Now a very important, it looks like sperm. Okay. You should not focus here. You should focus here. Okay. Now listen. So this is myosin head interacting with myosin head interacting with what? Myosin head interacting with actin. Clear? Okay. Now a very important point here you need to understand is this. Now wait, there is a slight mistake in this diagram and I will fix it. Now listen. This is what? Essential light chain or regulatory light chain? This is essential light chain. How to understand this? The first light chain that comes here is essential, right? It starts with E, and in alphabetical order E comes before R. That's it. Clear? Now, in this state, this myosin head will rotate here, and therefore the next actin will come and join here. Okay. Now you know these things. This is cross bridge cycle. Now a very important thing is what is latch bridge phenomenon. Now listen. You already understand now by this time that when this regulatory light chain is phosphorylated. Now listen. When this regulatory light chain is phosphorylated, then actin and myosin can come together and they can start what? Cross bridge cycle. But in only smooth muscle, what happens is there is a possibility that when these when actin and myosin are actually interacting with each other, this may happen only in case of smooth muscle, that phosphates may move out. Phosphates suddenly can move out. Okay. And due to this, what happens is this will be in a Cox state. That means they are now in a locked up state. Okay. Now this is called latch state. What is latch state? Latch state means that actin and myosin are still now interacting, but phosphate is absent, which is what? Which is really absurd. Why? Because due to the coming of this phosphate, this myosin head becomes activated and they actually interacted with, it actually interacts with what? Actin. But in latch state, what happens is this phosphate is actually removed, or it actually is gone, and then latch state occurs. Now listen, what is the importance of latch state? What is the importance of this latch state? Now listen, it's very important. Why? Because you know what is multi-unit smooth muscle by now, and multi-unit smooth muscle can actually generate a huge amount of what? Force. Now listen, without this latch bridge phenomenon or latch state, multi-unit smooth muscle cannot do that. Why you know? Because latch state is actually, you know what, almost equivalent to the rigor state in cardiac skeletal muscle. Almost is equivalent to the rigor state in skeletal muscle. Now a very important part is this, that what is the difference between rigor state and latch state? The basic difference is this, that now listen, the basic difference is this, that once the latch state has started, then if you introduce phosphates here, then also this whole, you know, myosin head will now interact, and then they will, you know, bend here, and cross-bridge cycle will now what? Start again. That means in latch state there is a reversible chance of, you know, contracting or, you know, starting the cross-bridge cycle again. But in rigor state, once the skeletal muscle has reached the rigor state, there is no reversing back. Clear? There is no reversing back. There are possibilities, but after a certain time you cannot reverse rigor mortis. Okay? But in case of latch state, you can actually do that. Now listen, what happens is this, during, you know, smooth muscle contraction, what happens is phosphates, you know, actually phosphates move around like this. Inorganic phosphates move around like this. That means they are joined, then again they will move away, they will again join, they will again move away. Why do you think that this is actually occurring frequently? Why these phosphates are running away, then they are joining again? Because so that this particular, suppose this is my hand, myosin, suppose this is myosin, and suppose this is actin, and this actin and myosin now interacting. Now before myosin can actually, you know, provide the, you know, force, it goes into latch state. That means now what is happening? That means a huge tension is now generated in the muscle, okay, which is useful for your sphincters, for multi-unit smooth muscle. And then again phosphates come and they give this, you know, what, movement. And after that there is phosphate, okay, then again another actin comes, and again it reaches the latch state, then it again moves, then it reaches the latch state. That means in skeletal muscle what happens, when actin interacts with myosin, smoothen, you know, these things actually smoothen, they move like this, okay, clear, they move like this. Suppose this is your actin, this is another actin, this is another actin, first, second, third. But in smooth muscles what happens is this is another this is first actin, this is second actin, this is third actin. What happens is this is myosin head, they are in latch state, then they pull, then they go, you know, then they are detached, then they again act on second, then latch state, generating high tension, then they move. They are in latch state, then they will move. That means there is a brief period of latch period. Brief period of latch state, not latch period, sorry. Brief period of latch state, and due to this, these, you know, muscles can generate huge tension or huge force, okay, creating sphincter like, you know, thing, sphincter like, you know, operation, okay. So this was, you know, the whole of smooth muscles. Clear? Okay.